Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into an explainer covering a deeply misunderstood part of the world, Iraq. If you're like me and you love uncovering the hidden depths of history, culture, and absolute human resilience, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, you are not going to want to miss a single explainer we have coming down the pipeline.
Let me ask you a question, and be completely honest here. What is the very first thing that pops into your head when you hear the word Iraq? If you're like most people, your brain probably jumps straight to the images we've seen on the news for decades, right? War, conflict, oil. But today, we're going to absolutely shatter that single-story narrative. We are unpacking a nation whose reality, history, and people will, frankly, astound you.
Okay, let's dive into this. Long before any modern geopolitical conflicts, Iraq was quite literally the cradle where human civilization figured out how to thrive. I mean, this is the exact soil where the ancient Sumerians gave us the very first written language, cuneiform. It's where human beings actually invented the wheel. So every car, every bicycle, every machine today, it all traces its roots back here. And it's where humanity got its first set of written laws with Hammurabi's code. So Iraq is literally where humanity learned to write, roll, and rule. How crazy is that?
Section 1. Beyond War and Oil.
So, geographically, Iraq sits right smack in the heart of the Middle East, bordered by 6 nations, including places like Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. To put it in perspective, at roughly 438,000 square kilometers, it's about half the size of Pakistan. But honestly, the demographics are where the real story starts. This is a country fueled by this incredible, vibrant energy. Out of a population of 42 million people, over half of them are under the age of 25. Let that sink in. It's a rapidly growing, wildly young nation that's navigating a very ancient landscape. Section 2. The Cradle of Civilization. Think about this. While early humans in other parts of the world were literally still seeking shelter in caves, the land here between the iconic Tigris and Euphrates rivers, historically known as Mesopotamia, was birthing complex human society. So the crucial point is, that fertile land nestles between those 2 legendary rivers wasn't just a great place to farm. It was the absolute foundational cornerstone of the modern world. Following this historical timeline really puts things into perspective for us. From the Sumerians 6,000 years ago to Hammurabi's laws, Iraq's legacy is just massive. Fast forward to the 8th to 10th centuries, and Baghdad had entered its golden age. It was actually the largest city in the world at the time. It was home to the House of Wisdom, where global knowledge was gathered, translated, and preserved. But, history can be tragic too. In 1257, the Mongol invasion utterly devastated the city. The historical sources describe a scene so catastrophic that millions of books from the House of Wisdom were thrown right into the Tigris River. They say the water literally ran black with ink. But despite all that, the marvels that remain, or that are recorded in history, are just awe-inspiring. You've got the architectural wonder of Babylon, where King Nebuchadnezzar reportedly built the Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Then you have the deep spiritual gravity of the ancient city of Ur, which is the birthplace of the prophet Abraham. And beneath it all, the ground is so rich with history that archaeologists are still pulling 5,000-year-old trade boats out of the earth. That gives us evidence of some of the world's absolute earliest maritime trade. Section 3. Heart of Faith. The connection the rest of the world has with Iraq is really twofold. On one hand, you have a very practical economic relationship. We're talking trade involving rice and textiles, plus thousands of international workers, particularly from South Asia, who are employed in Iraq's labor and service sectors. But step beyond the economics, and there is this deep spiritual connection. Every single year, millions of people make incredibly emotional journeys to holy cities like Karbala, Najaf, Samarra, and Kadamiyya. This isn't just travel, folks. It's a profound pilgrimage of the heart. And nowhere is this more evident than during the Arbaeen pilgrimage in Karbala. Get this gathering is actually larger in scale than the Hajj. Millions of people walk toward the city, and all along the way, they're met with maqibs. These are tents set up by local Iraqis offering completely free food, water, and rest to the pilgrims. The legendary, just completely selfless hospitality shown to these millions of travelers is truly a sight to behold. It really speaks volumes about the Iraqi spirit. Section 4. Economy, riches, and struggles. Now, what's really interesting here is this fraction, 1/9. According to official data, that staggering fraction represents the share of the entire world's global oil reserves sitting right beneath Iraqi soil.
Just think about the immense, almost incomprehensible wealth that represents for a single nation.
However, having that massive reserve creates a very, very skewed economic reality. Despite boasting a GDP of around $248 billion, the country's economy is almost entirely dependent on oil. It makes up roughly 90% of its revenues. It's really a textbook case of an economy relying far too heavily on just a single resource to stay afloat.
And the impact of this reliance, especially when you couple it with decades of conflict and sanctions, is stark. If we objectively compare eras, the 1970s and 80s saw a highly developed Iraq. They had an incredibly strong dinar, alongside completely free, high-quality education and hospitals. Today, while a lot of rebuilding is underway, the daily reality includes a weakened currency, high youth unemployment, and major infrastructural struggles. We're talking severe load shedding during blistering 50 degrees Celsius summer heat. It's a complex, incredibly challenging transition.
Section 5. Culture, Climate, and Cuisine.
When you think of Iraq, you might just picture an endless desert, but the geography here is actually full of extremes. In the south, around Basra, you find these incredible marshes, often called the Venice of Iraq. They have floating reed houses and scorching summers that push past 50 degrees, producing some of the world's most famous dates. But if you head up north to the Kurdistan region, it's a totally different world. You'll find the ancient herbal citadel, lush waterfalls, towering mountains, and freezing winters with heavy snow, where temperatures can actually plummet to negative 20 degrees Celsius.
But regardless of whether you're freezing in the snowy north or sweating in the hot south, the food is universally incredible. Behold, maskoff. This is the undisputed national dish. What they do is they take a fresh river fish, split it open, and slow roast it vertically around a blazing open wood fire. It's this ancient, traditional preparation done right on the banks of the Tigris. Oh, and a quick cultural tip. If you're ever hosted by an Iraqi, you absolutely must praise the food and say satain to enthusiastically wish them good health. The culinary culture here is literally an all-day affair. For the adventurous eaters out there, your day might start with pacha, a traditional breakfast made of sheep's head and trotters. By the afternoon, you're feasting on kwazi, which is a massive platter of whole lamb and rice, or maybe some beautifully stuffed dolma. And as the day winds down, out come the sweet kalecha biscuits, served alongside endless flowing cups of sweet, thick tea and cardamom-infused coffee. That right there is the true beating center of Iraqi hospitality. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer weight of their history. 5 million. That is the estimated number of graves in Wadi Us Salam in Najaf. It actually holds the title as the largest and oldest cemetery in the entire world. It's an incredibly powerful testament to the sheer scale of Iraq's deep historical roots and all the generations who have lived, loved, and been laid to rest in this land. But the people themselves today are full of surprises. Like, did you know there is a massive widespread passion for chess across the country? It's a legacy that was heavily promoted during the Abbasid era. They are also incredibly passionate about football, famously uniting the entire nation to become the 2007 Asian Cup champions. On top of that, the cultural fabric is deeply diverse. It's home to ancient and amazingly resilient Christian communities in cities like Mosul, where they speak languages that have echoed for millennia. Section 6. The Resilient Future.
Let's move ahead and see how this all builds a picture of tomorrow. First, you have an incredibly educated, highly connected youth. As we saw in the 2019 protests, this is a generation actively demanding and pushing for positive change and a brighter future. Second, there is real, tangible rebuilding happening. We're seeing new roads, modern shopping malls, and infrastructure breathing life back into these cities. And third, there is this massive, largely untapped potential for tourism. From the immense safety and beauty of Kurdistan to the rich religious sites and ancient ruins just waiting to be explored. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. After unpacking all of this, is it time we collectively start looking at Iraq differently? I mean, it is a nation of unimaginable resilience, carrying the weight of human history while actively forging a vibrant new future. Let me know in the comments how your perspective has shifted. And hey, before you go, tell us where we should travel to for our next explainer. Should we head to Iran, Turkey, or Egypt? Drop your vote below. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey today. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.